Bruh, you're not first. I'm always first. There's no one first before me. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the one that begins, and I am the one that ends it. I don't think you guys can hear me now, can you? Yeah, you guys can hear me. I tried streaming this yesterday. There were a couple of issues with the streaming setup, so I guess I had to fix them. I will repeat some of the things that I said. And, you know, like, this is not a big thing, but I just noticed, like, every single game is doing this. And I'm really annoyed by it because people don't speak out. Like, everyone hates it. Everyone on every forum, like, there's just, like, very, very few people that like it. And usually those people don't even play the game. And it's the art choice, right? The art style of making women look masculine. I mean, look at this jawline. I wish I had the jawline like this. I would have made my fiance twice as wet if I had this jawline. It's absolutely superb. Like, you can cut diamonds with this jawline, and no one talks against it, right? Like, what people should do is go on forums and demand surveys, demand polls. Like, say, who likes this? Let's have a survey. Why don't we put it up to a poll? Why don't we put it up to a vote? Right? Like, do we not like democracy? Usually companies, they have these things called focus groups where they hire a couple of people to say how they feel about the game. But what they can also do is that this would be very easily implemented. Like, within the game, you can have a survey. And you can ask, hey, which art direction do you like more? You know, like, do you like the previous one where the characters look like this? Or do you prefer the new ones where the characters look like this? And obviously, like, some characters, I prefer the new version. For example, the Barbarian. He looks better in the new one. Apparently, like, people noticed that she used to have some underboob, which is now gone. You know, puritanical Christians have taken over. But I do like the Druid. I mean, the Druid, as I pointed out in the previous stream. He looks like a guy that came out of Auschwitz. I mean, look how thin he is. Like, these are like skeleton-like arms. It's very meh. I like the new one, right? Like, the new one, he looks a lot more rugged. He looks a lot more beefed up. So it depends from character to character. The assassin, I like the previous haircut. Like, she actually had like this more feminine haircut than whatever she's got here. Like, she traveled to California now. She went into a barber style, to a hair salon, and they did this to her. But obviously, you know, like, the Amazon now is neither man nor woman, but a ghoulish apparition trapped in between, spawned from the sickly bowels of California. And it's not okay. I think it breaks immersion. And the reason I'm saying it breaks immersion is if you're playing this on a high-end PC and you're playing this, you're playing this with high details and high graphics, so I don't know how well it translates on the stream. But there is a way you can actually zoom in, and it looks like a man. I mean, just let me choose the gender at this point. Like, let me keep the head, you know, let's just keep the head and put me a man's body underneath, so I don't feel like this is Uncanny Valley. And they did this to all the women in the game. Like, look at Charcy, right? I mean, again, she looks masculine. She looks pretty when you zoom out and you see her from behind, and she's got like a pretty voice.
Hi there, I'm Charcy.
But other than that, it's just like, ugh. For some reason, Akara is the only woman in the game that's allowed to have boobs. And you know, like, why I'm complaining about this?
Good day.
It's due to the fact that, but yeah, she also has like masculine head. Like, look, she looks like just exactly like a man. You wouldn't know. At least like He-Man and the Protectors of the Universe tried to hide the fact that Tila is a man. Gave her a different haircut. These aren't even trying. The reason I'm talking about this, right, is that this is like one of the only things that they did. Like, they added extra into the game. So they could have added, I don't know, instead of spending effort on doing this shit, why not add a new class? Like, it would have been a lot more cool if they would have just spent their money adding a new class rather than this. Look at all the puritanical shit, right? So, for example, This is how the Amazon used to look like, and you get to see her tush tush. And this is how it looks like now. You know, like they just like, why? Why did you do this? Like, people didn't ask for this, you know? When people play Diablo, they wouldn't think about, oh my god, like this is a hyper-sexualized game. No, they would have just looked at it. But like the artist, the people in charge at Blizzard said, alright, well maybe the leadership, like the people actually in charge of the company, if we have this, they're going to start humping the monitor because they just keep harassing women. So maybe we need to dress her up, you know, maybe we need to put her into the medieval burqa so that the people in charge of the company and the HR don't just hump the monitors because they just can't control themselves. They're pretty wild, and we need to tame the female representation. Now, I'll play the game after this, but I just want to say one of the things that are constantly being said. It's like, okay, so why do you want games to look like this? Like, do you want to masturbate or do you want to play the video game? And to me, and I said this on my channel, it's like, the game is like a good steak, you know, like a 3-star Michelin steak. Like, it's got really good gameplay, it's very solid, it's one of the best games ever made, it's a classic. But when it comes to the visual effects, the eye candy, they're like good seasoning. You know, it's like, not only do you have a good steak, but now you seasoned it properly, and the food just tastes better. You're not just eating the steak, you're not just planning to eat the seasoning, right, raw, because that would be bad. Like, what they're saying, it's like, oh, so you want to masturbate. No, like, I don't want just the eye candy, right? It's just, like, complementary to the whole thing, to the whole package. Now, what they do is, like, they give you a good steak, and they drop sand over it. Not a lot of sand, mind you, but, like, still a little bit. And, you know, it now feels bad, and it's like, why did you do that? Instead of eye candy, why are you adding eye shit to it? Why are you adding eye puke to the game? It makes absolutely no sense, right? And that's literally what they do. Like, there's so much investment into this in order to make the game more Christian friendly. But other than that, right, like, if you look outside of the creative freedoms that they chose, the game is gorgeous. I mean, I really like it. Look at...
I shall purge this land of the shadow.
Look at how great it looks, right, compared to what it used to be. So, I think they done a good job. I think it's quite a shame that Warcraft 3 didn't get the same treatment. Warcraft 3 Reforged would have definitely been a great game if they would have remaked it like this. If they would have done a proper job. And they could also sell, like, expansion to Warcraft 3, like add new heroes and maybe a new campaign or something like that. They totally missed the mark on that one. But I'm glad to see that, at least with Diablo 2, the game looks gorgeous. It's definitely giving me the vibes from when I was a kid. I used to play this game a lot, so to me it's also the nostalgia that they added. They also added a couple of quality of life upgrades that I'm really happy with. So one of them, as you could see here, is that you can pick up the gold without having to click on it. So you can just walk up over the gold and you automatically pick it up. This is something that I'm good with. They also made it so you can respec your character. You weren't able to do this in the past. I remember there were people that legitimately, like, got enraged at the internet cafe, because this is how people used to play it back in the day. They would go on an internet cafe, they would pay them 1 hour, and they would play some Diablo. And when you level up and you click on a talent, it doesn't ask you whether you think that the change should be final. Like, it doesn't ask for a confirmation. You click on a talent and that's it. You know, it's a contract edged in blood. And what ended up happening is that a lot of people would sometimes accidentally misclick. And obviously it's fine if you misclick when you're level 4 or something. But when you're at level 65 and you misclick the talent or an attribute, that's it, it's gone. And you can ruin a character like that if you're min-maxing. So look here, right? If you click on this, that's it. Like, there is no accept or reboot. No, you clicked it, it's gone. And what ends up happening is that there was no respec back in the day. So your character could have been absolutely ruined if you clicked inappropriately. now you can respec, which is kind of cool. Because like back then, I know a guy who actually got banned from the net cafe because he smashed the keyboard. Like he accidentally clicked, and he just got up, took the keyboard and smashed it, and they had to call security, and he was banned for life from that internet cafe. But you know, it's like these funny stories, which, in my opinion, made it so cool about playing video games in a net cafe, and experience that you don't get to have anymore in this day and age, because like everyone is playing from home on the internet. People are saying that respec was added later on. Maybe it was. I don't know. I've never played, I guess, at that point in time. Not to mention, like as I mentioned before, I would play on internet cafes, and they would probably run a pirated version of the game. They didn't have the money to buy all the games that they had here in Eastern Europe, so because of that, they wouldn't have access to the patches. Wait, were these? Yeah. So look, they also added other things, like for example this tent right here. That didn't exist. And the zombies, look how fluid their animation was. Again, I don't know if this translates well onto the stream or not, but it looks gorgeous. Yeah, so I guess as I play and I'm getting immersed, I don't really notice the Amazon. I'm hoping that by level 10 or something like that, I'll be able to get a helmet and cover her up. And then I won't have a problem with it.
Perhaps now the sisters will trust me.
I'm not giving you the silent treatment, but you're not talking about the game, so I'm trying to keep the stream focused on one subject, because I get a lot of complaints, like my streams all over the place. I talk about like the game, and then I start talking about other stuff, and it's because I usually look at the chat and I'm allowing people to dictate the course of the conversation, I suppose. So yeah, I don't even know how you're supposed to do the leveling up, because like, for example, you got 3 talent trees, right? And if I don't want to use bows and crossbows, I think I shouldn't put any points here. Like, I should just spend the points on these 2, right? Like there's obviously no reason to put to spread talents and waste them on something that you're not planning on using, I guess. Yeah, I've tried to keep you focused. Because otherwise it's still you guys that are complaining, and it's not like a complaint that I don't get, because I probably wouldn't like to watch a stream where everyone is all over the place and the streamer just talks about all kinds of stuff. So if it's a stream about Diablo, then it should stay about Diablo. So I gotta say, one of the things that really makes this game work is, and you don't get to experience this anymore, right? Like, for some reason, everything has to be Disney, everything has to be Pixar to appeal to that wider audience. But what this game did is, like, it had, like, this grim, dark atmosphere. So, the way they make it is, first of all, it's the colors, right? Like, the color palette, it's quite dark, like, you're fighting during the nighttime. But what's even cooler is the music. Just listen to it. So the music itself, like if you compare it to Diablo 3, Diablo 3 has like very heroic, very positive music. This one has music that's kind of like ramping up the tension, and it makes you feel that it's so well done. I mean, in a way, it does make you feel heroic. Like you're in a place where you're not supposed to be and everything is dangerous, but you're handling yourself type of thing. But it's definitely not like a cheerful, you know, upbeat type of music that you find in other video games. And I think like the music adds just so much to the atmosphere. sound effects in a video game, like, you don't even notice them. Like, they're just something that makes the game better, and you don't really know why. Like, for example, I played other games, especially hack and slash, where you don't get to feel the impact of the weapon. And if you don't get to feel the impact of the weapon, it feels uncanny, and it just, like, removes part of the fun. And I think, like, what this game did, and you can't really notice it here because of the lag, but it does add a lot to the animation, where, like, you actually get to feel like you're hitting the enemy. It feels like the impact matters. And it's so surprising, like, a game that's so old managed to get this so right. I mean, if you're having a hack and slash, the most important thing is combat. There's nothing more important than it. It's because the player is going to be doing combat all the time. And if they're not having fun, then what's the point? Yeah, like, everything reacts getting hit. There was another game which they made, I think it was the Van Helsing one, where the enemies, like, didn't get stunned at all when you hit them, and it looks so weird, it looks so fake. And you want to avoid that. You want to make the player, like, feel, especially if I were to make one of these types of hack and slashes, the thing I would focus the most is, like, different weapons having different impacts on the enemy. So, for example, if you're slashing someone with a sword, you should have, like, the opportunity so that when they die, they get cut in half. But if you're hitting someone with a hammer, it should have, like, a bone crunching type of feel to it. So that would be, like, really cool. Like, people would love that, I guess. Like, different weapons dealing different types of damage visually. Like, game-wise, it should be the same, right? It's a numbered game, but when you hit someone with a hammer, it should definitely feel different than slashing someone with a sword. Now, with that said, the game is still, wow, these have boobs? Like, how did they allow this? Let me see one of these corrupted rogues. Let me just, hold on, let me separate one. I don't think I can separate because there's just way too many enemies here. Yeah, I killed him. I wanted to get a closer look at the details of that rogue. I really love the ability of the Amazon to dish out massive damage in a very short amount of time. The Succubus Act 5 were totally topless. Yeah, so, like, here's the thing with the topless. Like, I'm okay with them covering up toplessness, right? And the reason I'm okay is because, first of all, you get live streamers that would get banned if they would live stream the game. So I totally understand it. Like, for example, covering up Andariel. I'm pretty okay with that. But you also need to take into account, like, back when the game was made, it was pixelated, right? So you wouldn't really get to see you wouldn't really get to see much because it's pixels. But now that the game is a lot more polished, if it wasn't pixelated and you could actually, you know, have like the characters topless, then that would definitely be a problem. So I am fine with them like taking the liberty to cover up certain characters. But they definitely went overboard, especially with the Amazon, and like certain things didn't need it to be covered up. Again, like the perfect example is the Amazon. Like, look, she used to have like the legs exposed, and now they had to put armor on her for absolutely no reason. And don't give me with the realism bullshit. Because if you want to talk about realism, how exactly is she holding? What is it? 43 spears. Where is she putting them? Because she can throw them, right? And she's got 43 of them. So if you're going to go with realism, why are you fixated just on clothing? Why aren't you fixated on everything else? Like, why is the hero the only one that can drink potions? Why can't the enemies potion up? By the way, if you love the stream, I would appreciate the super chat. I'm just e-begging here because I need to e-beg. You know, if I don't ask, I don't get. Other than that, right now that the commercial break is over, I gotta say, I do feel that this is an old game. And there's several things that stand out. Like, for example, if you're not careful and you're using a spear weapon, right? Like with the spear weapon, you can throw it and you can do damage from range, which is cool. But the problem is that if you actually run out of the spears, you lose the weapon. So you can have like a legendary spear, you can have something really amazing, really cool, and you can just like, if you're dumb and you're not paying attention, you can throw it away and you get it, like you manage to lose it. And they would never do something like this in a modern game. I don't know if like the weapon's breaking. I think the same, like if the weapon breaks, you lose it entirely. You would never see something like this being done in a modern game, ever. Because the developers admit that the players are mentally deficient and the player gets upset if they lose the weapon. So they completely remove the ability to lose the weapon from the game. Another thing that I noticed is the talent tree. I mean, look how small this shit is, right? Oh, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, comparing this with Path of Exile and how many abilities you have with the different gems, I guess like even Diablo 3, I know it's cancerous, but we still need to mention it. It's got more abilities than this, so you can definitely tell that it's an old game because of these factors. Yay, thank you, the skater. I appreciate it. It's not that newer gamers are stupid. I mean, I can tell you, because I was playing at the Net Cafe, there was a lot of people that would make mistakes. Like they would accidentally click on a new skill talent point, and then they would get angry, or they would accidentally lose a weapon. So, like, it's not that gamers were stupid, but, like, game developers allowed players to be stupid. Because it creates, like, I'm telling you, like, it creates a really cool memories. So, for example, I remember when I was playing at the Net Cafe, I had a friend of mine, and we talked about, alright, let's have a duel. Let's see who the best is. But the problem with having a duel is that if you died, you would lose some of the gold. So what I did is like I threw all my gold onto the ground, and we're talking like, I don't know, I was like a level, I think it was like a high level character, maybe like level 50 or something. So there was like a lot of gold. And I'm having the duel with him, and he was the server, but for some reason, like his time was up, so the guy in charge of the Net Cafe Alt F4s, and this causes me to get disconnected. So by having the gold on the ground and disconnected, what ends up happening is that I lose the gold, right? And it's like these memories that the rage that I experienced, the white rage as the US military likes to call it, was memorable up until this day. Thank you, subject to change. Pay to the order on behalf of Anita Sarkeesian. Okay, so Anita Sarkeesian, in my opinion, wasn't the problem, because it was a whole movement. She was just the face. And it was like people in HR at these companies. It was people in the media. They were the ones that actually managed to get the censorship and to get all of this thing happening. Anita Sarkeesian, you know, the moment she stopped being relevant, they got rid of her. Like right now, you know, no one gives a shit about Anita. So you can see that she was totally a non-problem. Yeah, I was a coward about losing my gold. It's not that I was a coward. I kind of knew what character the guy was playing, and you know, my character was PvE oriented, and I knew like I'm not going to be able to manage to fight him off. And I just wanted to have like some fun and not lose the gold, I guess. But still, like I'm not upset that it happened, because now I have that cool memory. And I guess like that's my point, you know, like if the game wouldn't allow for that to take place, I would have been robbed of a really interesting childhood memory. Man, I love poking ladies with a stick. My son used my Diablo 2 account on Battle.net. He was like 6, and someone told him, "I'll give you Stone of Jordans, but I need your password." Ooh. Yeah, so back then, if you gave your password, it was next to impossible to get your account back, because like the idea of two-step verification system didn't exist. I don't even know if you could get your password, your account back. Like I remember in World of Warcraft, they finally started taking account hacking seriously, but you would have to like contact the GM, and you'd have to tell them what happened. That they would ask some questions about your account, like what level is your main character, what server, blah blah blah. And if you answered all those questions correctly, then they would give your account back, and it would take quite a couple of days. And even when you got your account back, you'd still not have your stuff back. So you wouldn't have like for example, if the hacker would have disenchanted all your items, well, you lost them. But you know, like after a while, I suppose they started taking the matter more seriously, and they would start giving you your stuff back. But in the early days, you couldn't do that. My God, why am I? Jesus, the slow of the boss is so effective. I guess it's not the boss itself that's the problem, it's the ads. Yeah, I didn't expect to be kiting so early on in the game. Like with Diablo 3, you'd never have something like this. Yeah, I can barely move. Shit. Should have got thawing potions, I guess. There we go. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this game. I'm definitely looking forward to playing the official version. Personally, what I do hope, but I don't know if they're going to do this. They should add an expansion to it. Honestly, like an expansion to Diablo 2. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I would probably buy it if it manages to keep with the vibe and the atmosphere. Not necessarily like have a new act or something like that. But what they can do is they could just add a new class or add more talents to the existing classes. That would be fun. Like I have the Witch Doctor class from Diablo 3 or the Demon Hunter class. Like, yeah, it would probably be really nice if they could add another range class. Because if I'm not mistaken, the only range class, like melee range class, is the Amazon. Or maybe the Assassin a little bit. But it's not the same. Yeah, like the only ones that actually get to use bows properly is the Amazon. Teleport for everyone, huh? Gonna mod the ugly out of the game. So if you can actually modify the game, that would be so fucking cool. But it's a Blizzard game, so I don't know. I mean, yeah, they let you mod with StarCraft. But can you imagine, like, you could replace all the monsters with anime girls and stuff? You could have like an anime character, like that would be really cool. But I don't think Blizzard will allow it, to be honest. They're not that fun. But I definitely, yeah, like I guarantee to you, if modding is possible, and if people will be allowed to do it, then you would have the, like, probably from the first mods that come are going to fix the ugly in the Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely add visual mods. Like, think about it, if you could actually have mods, people would create new classes. That would be so cool, like have unofficial classes. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a good tech guy, so I don't know how this works. I know there were like trainers for Diablo back in the day, and what the trainers would allow you to do was to like create items and create gold. It's pretty much like a way to cheat. There was this thing on the internet called Dirty Little Helper, and Dirty Little Helper would allow you to have various cheats for the game. And you could download a couple of trainers from there, which allowed you to create various items. Holy shit, a $50 donation. Squid, I don't remember complimenting you. See, now you need to take the money back. Now you get the buyer's remorse, because I genuinely don't remember throwing a compliment to you. But I thank you so much. I didn't expect to make this much money on the stream. I thought like if I make like $10 playing Diablo, that's going to be great. Right. Yeah, the Diablo 2 Jamela editor. People would create the Hololive girls. Oh my god, that would be so cool. Like, you'd have Gargura or Amelia Watson as playable characters with various abilities. Yeah, they would make like so much cool stuff. But I don't know if Diablo 2 can be modded. Like, chat, you're the experts. Can there be a mod for Diablo 2? Wait, why is... Oh, it's just... Okay. I felt like she's going to throw the spear. Steve. How much money did you give me for my wedding so far? Yeah, the wedding is coming on the 28th. So,
I can't carry anymore.
it's actually going to be difficult for me because it's on a Saturday. On a Saturday is when I make This Week is Stupid. And I want to be like Sargon. I want to make sure that every week is a week that people have This Week is Stupid. So I don't know how I'll manage. I'll probably make This Week is Stupid on Saturday. So, people in the chat, help me out. Like, if you, and only vote if you know, right? Like, if you're not sure or you don't know, don't vote, please. Vote 1 if the game can have mods, like if people are going to be able to mod it, and vote 2 if no. I'm really curious. I mean, I really hope that Blizzard is not really that mentally deficient and is going to allow the community to work on the game. Forget This Week is Stupid. No, I don't need to forget it, because I can just do it and not interfere with the wedding. So I can do it on a Friday and I can still have it. I can get someone else to do it. So it's really... well, you know, I wanted like a very small wedding for friends and family, but like apparently her family has like 32 people or so, which made the wedding a lot more expensive than I expected. So people say yes. I'm a little bit confused. Some people say no. I believe HK. HK is a rich person. He's got a lot of money. And if HK says no, then I believe him. I'm not going to stream. Why would I want to stream a Romanian wedding where people just sit at a table and eat? Well... Oh, Blizzard said they will have mod support. Okay, so if they have mod support, that would be so fucking cool. I mean, think about it. You can even, let's say you like Path of Exile, right? You can even create Path of Exile with mods into this game. Like, you would be able to do so much cool shit. You could have, like, multiplayer. Like, you could make a Dota game with Diablo. I mean, it's the way Dota actually came being.
I sense great sorrow and misery.
Join my army of the dead.
Oh my god, I miss my childhood. Yeah, so I don't know how they managed to give so much personality to these enemies just by like having them say a one-liner. Like for example, Andariel is like die maggot, and Blood Raven is like join my army of the dead. But like these sayings, they were so iconic at the time. I remember like the butcher when you play Diablo 1, and the butcher goes like fresh meat, and everyone at school would talk about it. It's like, hey, did you get to the butcher? It's like, yeah, it's playing the game, and all of a sudden this like demon, like this Duracell bunny that kept stabbing me over and over came out. Come on, lady, let me poke you. Oh shit, I got no identify or down portal score. Another game that was really, really cool, in my opinion, it was more magical than Diablo, not gameplay-wise, but story-wise and the visuals. It's a very old game called Nox. Apparently, like, there's people still trying to revive that franchise. Nah, I'm not doing like videos of my wedding day and shit. I'll take a couple of pictures and I'll show them on the internet, but I'm not live streaming. I'm not doing any of that. I mean, her parents are very conservative people. Like they don't want any of that. You know, it's like an intrusion in privacy or something. I'll make some pictures though, and I'll obviously show those.
I can't carry anymore.
And not to mention, like, getting married is so weird, at least to me, because I don't feel like it. I've been living with her for 2 years now. It feels like we're already married. So it's just like something that we're doing for the parents mostly, and something that, you know, it's something that needs to be done to be normal. But other than that, it doesn't really feel like it's a magical thing, if you know what I mean. It's just because we've been living together for 2 years, and now it's like, okay. Man, I need a town portal scroll, because it's not like Diablo 3 where you can just click a button.
I can't carry it.
Yeah, it's a ceremonial purpose, exactly. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? It's just that I guess I should have been more happy, you know? But I'm not happy because it's just like normal. It's more of the same. It's mainly for the woman. She doesn't want to get married either. Like, I actually spoke with her, and she's like more rational, and she's like, look, we need money, right? Like, we just moved in a new house. You haven't paid the bank. We need money for the furniture. We need money for other things. But her parents, which are very conservative, they insisted. And I was like, well, you know, fine, let's just do it. Because, like, she talked to me and she was like, we can just get the paper signed, like, Better Call Saul style. But I was like, no, because, like, then your parents will probably not like me. And, you know, like, they're part of the family now, so I have to please them as well. And that's how it ended up being. Yes, Styx and Sargon is coming to the wedding. Absolutely, they're going to fly all the way from the UK in order to, or Netherlands, in order to join a wedding that is in a language they don't understand. They were the first on my guest list. Ah, finally a town portal. But now that I found it, I want to keep exploring. Why the fuck is this game so fun? I do not get it. I haven't had this much fun even when I was playing Path of Exile. Why? It's a 20-year-old game. Why am I having this much fun with it? It's got literally no right to be this fun. It's a game where you click on shit. It's a point-and-click adventure, and I'm enjoying the hell out of myself. It's not nostalgia, right? It's legitimately a good game. It's got good atmosphere. The music is pleasant. The sound effects are great. I liked your video today about how men naturally get grossed out by seeing hairy armpits on a lady. Man, it's not that it's on a lady. It's hair that's gross. It's like showing you my pubes. Like, why the fuck would I do that? And it's not just men that get grossed out. Everyone gets grossed out. I don't think women like to see that on other women either. It's gross. The only hair that's acceptable is the hair on your head. I mean, in my country, even people that don't wear shirts are considered to be gross. Like men that don't wear shirts, it's like, okay. Like unless the only exception is like if you're on a beach, or you know, if you're very close to your house and you go out in the yard and it's incredibly warm outside, then yeah. But other than that, like most people cover themselves up. Yeah, like when a woman puts like her armpit hair and she puts it on the internet or whatnot, that's pretty much the equivalent of an unsolicited dick pic. It's like, it's a private part of your body. I don't care if you shave or not, I just don't want to see it. Why is that so fucking difficult? It's like the same way you don't want to see the dick of a stranger. Why do you think people want to see your armpit hair? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's nasty. It's nasty. Cover it up.
I'm overburdened.
You're being nasty. Not to mention, like, you're not going to change someone's mind. I generally don't understand why they do it. Like, no one is going to watch, oh my god, that is the most beautiful armpit hair ever. You know what? You're absolutely right. Like, women shouldn't shave. Why is Diablo 2 fun? It's fun for the same reason I keep going back to Halo CE. You know why I think this is fun? I'm going to be honest with you. I think like when this game was made, it was made by a couple of people in a fucking garage. Basically, the people who made it were gamers themselves, right? So it was a product made by gamers for gamers. And because of that, it's actually a great product. They understood what the gamer wants. They understood what makes a good game. They really had a visual like that wasn't infested by ideology. Like what I mean by this is when they created the Amazon, they were going, it's like, okay, what is cool? Like what makes for a cool character? What would speak to the player? So they wouldn't be like, oh well, we can't have like this Amazon because then the representation and depiction and blah blah blah. So they just did it because it was cool. And, you know, like developers aren't allowed to do that anymore. Like, developers are now being censored by the corporation, which tells them it's like, oh, well, you know, we need to think about X, Y, and Z when we create a new character, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, it's not, I think, like, what's his name? Steve Jobs, of all people. He explained this. He said that when a company becomes way too successful, when a corporation starts starts to gain monopoly, and then they think they have everything, and they don't need the customer, like they can make mistakes, basically. When that happens, it's the salespeople that run the company. So they don't really care about that, and the salespeople don't even know what the consumer wants. Like the salespeople, they have like some general understanding of what they think is popular, but in reality, they don't understand what drove the product in the first place. And they're the ones that, you know, they're going to focus the company on. All right, well, what we need you to do is to make a new store. You know what we need you to do is to release DLC on 5 times a month and charge money for it. And by doing so, they're alienating the customer. I mean, the way that the salesperson goes is like, all right, we got 1 million customers. If we put on a DLC and half of them buy it, then that's going to make us money. Right? And they calculate how much money that could make them. But the problem obviously is that you have 1 million customers now because they like the game. And they expect you to keep delivering and make the game great. But if you stop doing that, if you start alienating people, then you don't have 1 million customers. And then your math doesn't add up. Oh yeah, this one was another mechanic that I forgot about. So you had like these ethereal items which couldn't be repaired. And I remember like they were so good, but if you were them, they would take damage and you would lose them. And it was really annoying when you found like a really good item that was also ethereal. What people used to do is like they would save them before a boss, and they would only wear the item at the boss because it was like the upgrade and they didn't want to have it damaged. Yeah, so if Blizzard goes broke, I'm really curious who's going to get their IPs. To be honest, I can hardly wait for WoW to shut down. Maybe like Blizzard will then invest their resources into something meaningful. But let's be honest, WoW will never shut down and Blizzard doesn't even exist anymore. It's just the name of the company. I mean, it used to be a time when literally every single product that had the Blizzard logo on it, I would buy it. Just because it's got the Blizzard logo. Now, not so much. Now it's like, okay, it's got the Ubisoft logo or it's got the EA logo. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Might be a good game, might not. I don't know. I need more info. Anyway, I gotta go because breakfast is almost ready and I can hear my fiance spazzing out. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this game. It's very similar to the Diablo I once knew. Still very difficult. I mean, I almost died. Difficult as it keeps you on your toes. It is difficult compared to modern games. Like in Diablo 3, I didn't die until, I don't know, like level 30 or something. So there was like that cold enhanced chick that almost managed to take my life down. But other than that, yeah, I definitely think that this is a good game. I think it's a little bit overpriced though. I wouldn't have bought it, but a friend of mine got it for me, so I don't really mind. But yeah, I mean, it's overpriced for what it is. And I don't really appreciate the new changes, the visual designs. They're, instead of adding things, they decided to become more Puritan for no reason. How can you poison skeletons? Like, this is a question that I'll never understand. I think like this is actually a build, like poison javelin sorcerer thingy. It's kind of fun. Alright. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the super chats, and